move on that as well. Now, the landmark judgment of the presidential election results has been an emotive subject in Kenya, so much that since the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, petitions to nullify presidential elections have been filed at the Supreme Court in 2013, 2017, and they just concluded the 2022 elections. Well, today, we take a look at the history of presidential election petitions, what necessitated it, and the impact of the court verdict that has on the credibility of the electoral process.
The 2007 general election is arguably the most disputable poll in the history of Kenyan elections. The post-violence that ensued led to loss of lives, animosity, and destruction of immeasurable proportions. Following the chaos, the report by the Kriegler Commission urged Kenya to come up with a new constitution that was promulgated on the 27th of August 2010 that detailed on how any future dispute concerning election will be solved. The major avenue of this was to set up Supreme Court that would hear all issues regarding presidential election and make a ruling. In the 2013 presidential elections, there were 3 petitions seeking to invalidate Uhuru Kenyatta's win. The issues in contention were whether the president and his deputy were elected in compliance with the law, whether the election was conducted in a free, fair, transparent manner, or whether the spoiled votes should have been counted when determining total number of votes cast. A 6-bench judge led by former Chief Justice William Mutunga, however, upheld the election, stating that the elections were indeed conducted in compliance with the Constitution and the law. On the second issue, the court ruled that Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto were validly elected and that the rejected votes ought not to have been included in calculating the final tallies in favor of each presidential candidate. The main petitioner, Raila Odinga, accepted the decision, but however disagreed with the Supreme Court judgment. Raila urged Uhuru to reunite all Kenyans and uphold constitutionalism. In the 2017 presidential elections, there were 3 issues of contention. If president election was conducted in accordance with the Constitution, whether there were irregularities and illegalities committed in the conduct of the 2017 presidential election, and if the irregularities were present, what was the impact, if any, on the integrity of the election. The 2017 election petition made history as the first presidential election in Africa to be nullified. The 7-bench judge led by Chief Justice David Maraga ruled in favor of the petitioners, saying that the presidential election was not conducted in accordance with the Constitution. The 3rd respondent, who was the president, was not validly declared as president, and the 1st respondent, the IEBC, ordered to conduct a fresh election within 60 days. The decision was well received by the main petitioner, Raila Odinga, who termed the commission rotten and demanded resignations. President Kenyatta said he respected the court's decision, but also branded the judges as crooks. Following Raila's irreducible minimum demands that were not met, the NASA coalition did not participate in the repeat polls, leading to Uhuru Kenyatta's clear victory. In the 2022 elections, a 7-bench judge led by Chief Justice Martha Koome dismissed all 7 petitions on all 9 grounds, stating that the judges were not persuaded that the technology deployed failed to meet the standards of Article 86A on integrity. The court found no credible evidence to prove that anyone accessed, intercepted, or changed the voter results forms loaded on a public portal by the IEBC. The Supreme Court found no significant differences captured between the Forms 34A uploaded on the public portal and the physical Forms 34A delivered to the National Tallying Center that would have affected the overall outcome of the presidential election. Supreme Court also found no deliberate move to suppress voter turnout after it postponed some elections in parts of the country. On discrepancies, the court ruled that there is no evidence of unexplained discrepancies between votes cast in various election positions across the country and those cast in favor of the president. Further, the Supreme Court found that the power to verify and tally presidential election results vests not in the chairperson but in the commission, but ruled the commission only had disagreements at the tail end. The court also said the judges were not persuaded by the Amicus Courier Law Society of Kenya to review their position on the exclusion of rejected ballots in computing the total votes cast. The judges were also of the view that the pointed irregularities were not of such magnitude to affect the outcome of the presidential election. And ultimately, the court dismissed the presidential election petitions declaring the election of William Ruto as valid. The main petitioner, Raila Odinga and Martha Karua, have since accepted the ruling but disagree vehemently with the court's decision. The president-elect William Ruto has applauded the commission, terming chairperson Wafula Chebukati as an election hero. With the different views from the two political divides, whether the court decision impacts positively the electoral process solely remains with the electorate. Nancy Nalimer, Look Up TV.
Now, Kenyan lady